Double R Flo-town. Reeves, we have the busiest man in the PD.
Sheriff TJ Joye, we're delighted to have him. That's what this podcast is about, Robert. We want to bring both the good and the challenging to Florence and to the residents, to the whole surrounding counties. And Sheriff, we're delighted to have you here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
To tell us, what life in your seat is like, both the good and the bad.
Thank you so much for coming.
No, thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate y'all good guys. I'm honored for y'all to ask me to come. It's a tough job. And I say that things have changed so much in society as a whole since I started back in 85 to this day and time. I've been in the seat for 5 years. It's what's scary to me is us trying to attract and retain people that want to do law enforcement now, because that's been one of our biggest tasks, is to retain. And listen, the county council, the chair, they have gotten us tremendous amount of equipment, money, and when I started, it was in the 30,000s. Now we 50, 57, 58, somewhere along there. And I'm going to ask for more because it's a big county. It's 804 square miles of county.
That's what people don't understand.
And it's full of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's full of hell.
Yeah.
Robert and I were at an event you spoke at, which is last year, and you were speaking about the increase in salary you have been able to get.
Right.
And again, they need more. All of you need more, and I'm thankful for that. Those are the things that I think citizens want our tax dollars to go towards, is public safety.
We are servants to the public.
Yes.
And one of the biggest tasks that I've had is to generate that into the young people. Mm-hmm. You're a servant. Look, I work for y'all night and day. Mm-hmm. And I've made that clear. When I took this seat, is it aggravating my phone? At times, yes, it is. I don't like to go anywhere out of town.
Okay.
I don't like to do that because when something, not that listen, I've got a tremendous command staff that I love very dearly. They do a great job. But I'm going to be there when the stuff gets bad.
Wow.
So what would you say are the biggest challenges you're facing right now as sheriff?
I would think with the salary we have, getting more to, and on a good note, when I took office, we had like 4 or 5 per shift. Now we've got 12 to 13, and I just hired in the last 3 weeks 6 more deputies.
Okay, good.
And some were already trained, and that's the task at hand. You hire some and they can't make it. We have a 4-week academy or trial with us prior to sending them up there, because I want to make sure they can pass before we send them, because that's a very expensive venue to send them up there and they fail in the 3rd or 4th week once they get the legals. So we try to stop a lot of that and do it homebound here. We got our own little TAC force out there where they run the little course that they have to run at the academy, and we do a legal-based stuff with them and make sure they know how to shoot. That's important. Yeah. Because if you can't shoot, you don't need to be.
So you got 12 to 13 deputies on a shift,
right,
covering 800
on each shift.
Square
each
miles.
Shift. Right.
Wow.
12-hour shift.
Do you really need?
I want 20. But now people in hell won't ask for it, and you don't always get it.
Yeah.
I want you to have 20.
But listen, and I want to make this clear: the council and Mr. Yo, they are very supportive of law enforcement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Actually, one year they were going to give me 6 slots, and I said no need for me to hold that money open when I can't fill the ones we have now. But now we're there, so I'm gonna go back to my honeymoon's over, if they say.
There you go.
So it's listen. I understand the no's now, because what they've done for the sheriff's office, not for me, but for the men and women and for the citizens of this county, they serve. That is a strong county council we have.
The perception, we were talking about this before we started, of law enforcement in this country might be at an all-time low.
It is. I agree with that.
And so how do you go in? It's not just salary, but just the perception of, I don't want to go into a profession where people hate me 24/7. How do you go into those high schools or wherever you would go to recruit these people to say, look, this is an honorable profession, because it is, and help change that perception even on a local level?
Well, first of all, you got to look at yourself in the mirror.
Okay.
First of all, what we did here in this county at one time before I took office, the trust was gone. You have to build that back. You've got to make sure, and I make sure my command staff, you got to inspect what you expect. Okay. A lot of people say, well, Sheriff, no, it's not that I don't trust you. I'm going to make sure you did what you were supposed to do. Yeah. That's my job as your sheriff. If you call me and say, hey, look, Deputy so-and-so came by here, he did a report, but I hadn't heard from him. You call me, I'm going to inspect. Because listen, again, the average calls we go through is 300 or more a day.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like, and listen, the Lucas Street, we've closed down 2 motels. That's the busiest interchange in the country. To New York, to Miami.
Yeah.
And they're stopping in. Not only that, we get nice visitors from Darlington. We get Dillon because that's convenient for them. My narcotic cap has done very well. We got more narcs now. We got more investigators. We got more deputies because it's growing and the crime grows with population.
So closing those 2 hotels, have you already seen a difference there?
Yes.
That's great. That's great.
I think a lot of people don't realize or think about when you go New York City to Miami, Florida on I-95, and then you think of the halfway point, which is Florence, South Carolina, and then you just think of the state of South Carolina. Florence is really the only city on 95 in South Carolina.
That's correct.
They got to stop here.
That's the largest interchange in the far as population-wise.
Yeah.
But we have a task force. We have a criminal enforcement unit. They do well, and I implemented those about 3 years ago. Alan Heidler, when he was chief, sat down in the areas that they were calling about shootings or people. We worked those red flag areas, and we've calmed that down. But I would be a fool to say I can stop it all because I can't.
Right.
I'm not selling that product. The best way my chief says about a hurricane, we can't stop a hurricane. It's how we react to it afterwards. These murders, like I say, we 10 for 10. It's not a game, but guess what? We caught the criminals that did those murders. And, just like my kudos goes to my investigators with this shooting we had with the Kinlaw lady.
Yeah.
They were on it. They had arrest made the next day.
That's amazing.
I don't know if people caught that. You say we were 10 for 10. So develop that a little bit more. What do you mean?
We had 10 murders last year, 2025. We had 10 arrests. Out of the 10 arrests, 7 were juveniles. So that's one of the biggest issues now that I see in this time, from the school administration having to deal with bad kids in school to them being out on the road. And, I had somebody ask me, about the curfew. And I know some people take me as that. Do you really think a kid cares about a curfew if they're out there shooting and murdering? No, none whatsoever. And, we got to get to the well, guess what? The grassroots starts at home with your parents.
Yes.
We start charging the parents, putting them in jail.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because these kids are growing up with no direction.
No direction.
No father in the house.
Zero respect.
And we're seeing the results now, clearly.
Big results, yes.
We had Senator Rickenbaugh on the podcast last year, and that's the very point he was talking about, just how depraved some of these homes are that these kids are growing up in. And bad parents produce bad kids, and that's what we're dealing with now. There's no discipline,
and
no
some
respect.
Some of the parents now, the saying that I love, discipline is fine until it's mine.
Yeah.
Let my kid go and do what he wants to. Life's not like that. I promise you this, every kid that's made a threat toward school or toward anything, I put their butt in jail.
Okay.
Every one of them. Some of them, I had plenty to say, well, my son, and they thought because they had a little money, thought because who they were. No, they going to jail.
That's good.
I don't have a crystal ball to say whether this kid legitimately can do this. He said it. Words mean something. When you say it, it means something. When you threaten a school this day and age, it means something to me.
Wow.
You take them, haul them, take them to jail.
So you've been in the sheriff's department for how many years now?
I came in at 85, And I left in '88, went on the state highway patrol. And I had a career there, and I retired in 2015 or 16. I can't remember what I had for supper last night, but 15 or 16. And then I ran for sheriff in 20.
So that's when Reeves was 5 years old. So we know that's a long time ago.
Come on, guys. You know,
I'm an old man, and you were a sheriff's department when I was 5.
You've seen behind the scenes of the PD for a lot of years.
5 years.
And now you're seeing that, what are we now, that third generation? It used to be the kids had a grandparent that
Took control. That's right.
that grandparent's no longer here.
No.
And
And
so
we see that now.
you're seeing it.
We're seeing that.
What do we
with
do?
the kids.
What do we do, Sheriff?
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I'm a law dog. I put you in jail. There with the court systems, and I think the senator and those are working on this now make a stronger penalties for these juveniles. I know Merle Smith has got a committee now, and they're working on that. And I think that's going to keep them in jail, make them realize that they have to be accountable for their actions.
Yeah. That's
That's a lot of it now. There's no punishment that deems them. They don't care. You know,
Right.
I know I'm a juvenile. I can do what you want.
yeah. Wow.
I remember when I was in college, I had a semester. I don't remember what the class was, but I went into DJJ in Columbia for a semester and worked with these kids. And I mean, some of them had committed murders, or at least were, you know, charged with murder. But looking in the face of some of these 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that were in DJJ, I had tremendous compassion for them because you saw behind the tough exterior, they were just babies.
A human.
And human.
You're right.
And if we could just get in and help with the parents, you know, and I think that's part of you can't do that. Like you said,
No,
you got to deal with what they do.
Will render any help we can.
Yeah.
With counseling and so forth. But it starts at home.
Yes.
And if you look at a lot of the juveniles that we're having trouble with, the history of their parents is also bad.
Yeah, it goes right back.
How much of a problem is the court system? You just kind of touched on it a little bit. I mean, are we putting these kids, because if they do the crime, they need to do the time, not to.
Well, first of all, they've got to change some of the laws. The judge can sentence them by what we have on the books now. And that's why Merle Smith has got this committee formed to make it tougher, and they're working on that now.
Okay.
And I do believe when they get this completed, they make the decisions on tougher penalties, that will help some.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like everybody, when we investigate something and make an arrest, we give it to the solicitor. The solicitor decides whether to prosecute it. Everybody blames the sheriff. Listen, we're going to go by the law. You know, we don't make stuff up. And if it's prosecutable, if the court throws it out, that's their business. My job is to put them in jail and address what's been brought. If there's victims involved, we're going to take care of the victims. I don't care what the other side thinks.
Exactly.
The victims have priority with me.
I think one thing we're seeing is with these phones, we hear about every little thing that happens now.
Yeah.
So everybody's thinks everything's way worse because we know too much probably. And it's really kind of clarify for everybody that, yeah, we had 10 murders, but we're not having a lot of killings, and it's not dangerous on the streets.
No, as I've said, there were 10. We're 10 for 10, and those related to 7 juveniles over power, girlfriend, territorial, money. All of them were. In the murder we had with the Kinlaw lady, you know, shot in the back of the head, put back in the car, poured gas or whatever, and say, I don't know what it was because we hadn't got that back yet. But burn her up. Her son was involved in a murder in Darlington County. It was revenge for that. So these are not, okay, I'm going to ride down to Florence and I'm going to get out and just rob somebody and kill them. That's not what we have now.
Exactly. I think we all think, oh God, we might be next. This could happen to me. It's not quite like that, which is encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
Florence the PD is not an unsafe place
The
to
PD
live.
is a great place. My family, I've raised my family here. I've been in Florence County for my whole life, other than when I did the stint with the State Patrol when I was stationed in Dillon for 9-10 years, and I moved back here.
Yeah,
But this is a great place.
it sure is.
It's got great leadership here. It's got economic growth, and the schools are great around here. I will say this. Dr. O'Malley's watch, he's aggravating as hell that time. But he is very, very, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, I get a lot in the ear about, I need this from whatever. And we get along great. We're a lot alike. But the way he runs his school system.
Those schools are run
he is
like a in-shape corporate
he does,
business.
He does a great job.
He sure does.
Well, and I think what y'all were just talking about is really important to revisit, because I've got a couple coming down to Florence tomorrow from Virginia. They want to get out of the political environment of Washington, D.C., that whole corridor. They want to move to Florence. And he's asking me about the crime, and he's looking at all that. And we have some elevated crime stats if you just look at it on face value. But the reality is, it's thug on thug crime. It's
let
not
me
dangerous.
explain the crime stats are true that we get from SLED.
Okay.
But now if you Google Florence County, so what it does is it gives you a metro quad or whatever. And that includes Darlington County, and includes a part of so the true 804 square miles of Florence County, which in depth, the city of Florence, Lake City, Johnsville, Pamco, Olana. I left one out. Scranton.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of them, but we don't have. There are certain areas like everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like I told somebody, if I go to the bottom and get out and say, "Hey, y'all, somebody's going to try to shoot me," because that's an area that they hate me because of the job that we're doing, and it's a rough life there. But the reality of it all, that's the way it is. But it's not people walking down these streets shooting. You know, the Florence Police Department, they do a great job. We got a very proactive 2 teams that work very hand in hand with all the agencies here. Mm-hmm. And just like the murder we had with the King McFadden, Boys of Road Christmas Eve, he killed one prior to that in Timminsville. My team with the U.S. Marshals, they went to Sumter and got him.
Wow.
But
You've got some good guys.
oh, and listen, people, you know, called me one day. We chased one to Bennettsville, stole something. We chased them into Bennettsville, and I said, as long as we got gas and tires, if they commit a crime in Florence, we're going to chase them till we get them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good for them to know.
Yeah, I think that's really important. You know, and we've all, you mentioned you've been here most of your
whole
life.
life.
Your whole life. We've been here pretty much our whole life and raised families here.
I love this place.
It's a beautiful place.
It is, and it's I don't care. Just like I said earlier, if I told you, okay, there's not going to be any crime in Florence County, that's a lie. Mm-hmm. Everywhere, that's why we have law enforcement, public safety. Everywhere has crime.
Absolutely.
So maybe as we kind of wrap up, you've had 45 years of law enforcement.
42.
42.
Don't make me old.
Forgive me. Don't arrest me.
Hey, I
Sheriff.
hope you got another 10 years left in you.
That's right.
Only God knows that. I'll
We
tell you one day.
need you a little
I'll tell you
longer.
one day at a
We
time.
need you longer.
Can you quickly recall a scary story and a funny story for us?
I've got a few.
All right.
I'm sure he's got a
When I
lot.
was on the sheriff's office or a trooper, or just
Whichever
Anyone
one.
in the
Yeah.
last
June
42.
2nd, 1990, and it's comical and it's serious as well. There was a guy on I-95 in Dillon County, and there was a vehicle disabled, and I stopped there to check on them, and this real sharp-looking guy pulls up in a Mercedes in the military. He goes, "Trooper, there's a hell of a fight back here, man and woman." I said, "Okay." So I jump in the car, and I go, and I hit the median, and I go southbound, and I hit the northbound. Well, there was a car there on the side of the road. And I looked down, the road a little ways. There was a big, muscle-bound black guy walking. And I could see the blood on the shoulder and going into the cuts. This summertime, now it's hot. So I pull up to him and get out and say, "Hey, man, what's going on?" He turned around, he put his hand behind his back. He said, "Take me to see Nelson Mandela." I said, okay. I said, where are you going to see him? He said, Virginia. I said, okay. So I knew at that time. But anyway, I said, what have you got in your hand? Put your hands where I can see him. And he put his hand there, and it looked like a phone cord. And I said, open your hand. It was a girl's eyeball. He had kidnapped a girl.
Oh, my
And she tried to get down. He pulled her eyeball out.
Oh.
So we ended up fighting. And back then, we didn't have walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we fought. We rolled around. I was down in the cut zoo, and this old man pulled up. I've never seen him again. He was in a Toyota pickup pulling a Carolina boat, the old green wooden boat.
Oh, yeah.
He said, Trooper, you shot. I said, don't come down there. I don't know where my gun is, because we had different holsters in. I said, get on the radio and call for some help. So he runs back to the car, and it gets on my PA mic. He goes, break on the mic. I said, you're on the wrong mic. And finally, he got on the radio, and I heard him coming. But, yeah, that guy, we had to put him between two backboards, cravat him, and take him off. But he had lost his mind, and he kidnapped that girl from Fayetteville.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and she's blind. She was blinded by that because all the fluids, whatever fluids you have in your eyes, they pulled it out. She lost that. Somebody else took her to stop, saw what was going on, took her to the hospital.
But she survived.
She's living, but she's blind.
Oh, man.
My
So if I
goodness.
walked up to that, I wouldn't be tussling with him on the ground. I'd be headed the other way.
Well, we fought for about 17 minutes. I had another
God.
supervisor show up, and he drove off and left me. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want anything to do with that deal.
Yeah. That happened.
That's a real sheriff there, Reeves.
Yeah.
That is.
That's what we call a badass.
No, that was a bad day.
That was a bad.
When I fell on those speed bumps out there wrestling and hit my tailbone, it hurt for about 4 months. But that's a true story. June the 2nd, 1990.
Yeah, you'll never forget that one, will you?
I can tell you everything. And when my partner got killed in '88 there in Dillon, I can tell you everything I did that day, what I had for supper, and I do the same thing June the 2nd.
Wow.
Because when my gun, he had hold of my gun, and I grabbed it because I was trying to take him down. That, most police officers get killed with their own guns in a tussle. And those holsters we had back there, the front brake, they were not the most, what I would say, secure.
Right. My dad always says the speed of the boss is the speed of the gang.
That's right.
And we've truly got a strong leader.
Well, I appreciate that. But listen, I'm going to say this. The men and women at the Florence County Sheriff's Office, they're good. And there's some lazy in everything you do. But by the time I put my foot in the buttocks, we can get that going. But my command staff, they're excellent.
Well,
And
they see
I'm
you
glad.
working.
Yeah.
How can they not work hard when you're working harder than all of them?
I've always believed this through my life, even as a head football coach. I always wanted people that were smarter than I was in those coordinator positions. That's the same thing, like my chief, my majors, my captains over bureau. Listen, I don't lose sleep over them as much as I do some of the kids now acting fool. That's what I worry about.
Yeah.
Is there a message you want to give to the law-abiding citizens that you serve? Just instruction to any kind of message, just
Yeah, for one thing, they're our strongest hold, the public. If you see something, say something. Don't say, well, I'm not going to bother the law that bit. No, we're never too busy. Your information may lead us to a murder, may lead us to some activity. We've been looking for that vehicle, anything. And another thing, a lot of these juveniles are going in these neighborhoods. You leave your car open, there's a gun. Well, I left my guns in there. Well, bring your gun in, lock your car, and make sure you got floodlights. Get your little Ring camera, some camera. That helps us tremendously.
Okay.
That's great. Well, anything we can ever do to help you, we're here. We sure appreciate all you
Well,
do.
I appreciate y'all. I enjoy y'all. Y'all good people.
Come back on anytime.
You when you need me, let me know.
Thank you so much.
Phone call away.
Thank you.